Yes, yes, guys, we are here, episode 15, the podcast. We have massive superstar Sammy Virji inside the fucking place.
Don't know about massive superstar, but
He's up there. He's up there. Someone call him the goat of bassline. You know, he's the self-proclaimed king of bass, and we look quite similar. So you're in for a treat. So I've got to start, Sammy. I'm sure that I've got loads of people listening who already love your music. They love your sets. Where are you from? What's your nationality? Just out of curiosity.
I'm British, but I'm half Indian.
Oh, big
So on my
ups.
dad's side, yeah,
You got that nice skin color. Got that nice
yeah.
skin color. Yeah, come on. Brown gang, brown gang. Yeah, I'm half Lebanese, so
Oh,
we've got
nice.
bit of culture stirred up
Great
in there.
food, Lebanese food.
Oh, you know that. My dad's got a restaurant in Knightsbridge, so I have to take you
Oh, is
sometime.
it? Oh,
Yeah.
that's wicked.
Marouche. Mashallah. All right, so so Sammy, tell me, how did you get started on this mad journey? There's going to be so many people aspiring to be where you are today. So tell us, how did you get started? How have you found your journey so far?
Yeah, I mean it's been pretty amazing. I mean, it's just like it's something I've wanted to do. I've always been involved in music since a kid. Like I was making music on guitar and piano when I was like really young. And then it wasn't until maybe when I was like 11 or 12 maybe I got into electronic music, like started trying to make dubstep. I was always messing around on garage band, and then I'd go over to my dad's house and he had Logic on his computer because he's a musician as well. Um and I'll just try and obviously like what I was making was rubbish. Like it was so bad. I'm gonna try and source out some like one of the first tunes I made. It's dreadful, but
Yeah.
just making some like dreadful dubstep. And then DJing wise, I kind of got a controller when I was 16 and started messing around. And then it wasn't until uni where I was getting some DJ sets and clubs, but also getting noticed for my productions as well. Um, and then yeah, it's just sort of gone on from there. It's hard to tell where like to pinpoint a moment where it was like a takeoff moment, but yeah, it's all just sort of been a progression. Yeah.
That's amazing, man. So inspirational. Like you shell down every set, and it's amazing. Why don't we tell some of the upcoming DJs and producers how you kind of prepare a set? What's your mindset when you go in and make a track? Do you have a structure for that? How can the kids learn from you and be a boss?
Um, I think I think with making a track with me, it's just I've always just sat down and and done it, and that's great advice. No, I mean, I used to just do it all the time. Like I would, miss doing homework and just be producing, and that's all I would do. Um, and I'd say just like creativity comes when it comes, and just sort of, don't try and force anything, but yeah, just like sort of let it flow in a way. Um, and then what was the other question?
Planning your DJ sets.
Oh,
Do you pre-prepare? Do you have your doubles ready? Do you have
so,
what's the vibe?
so I organize everything into key. Like I mix religiously by key. Um, so I'll sit down. I mean, you can do it on record box. It can tell you the key, but it gets it wrong quite often. So I'll sit there with a piano and just find the key and organize it in that way. And then yeah, I've got my mixes that I know do well. Sometimes I'll sit on record box and just try things and see if they work and be like, oh, that's good. I'll try that tonight. Um, yeah, pretty much. Pretty
Sick.
much I'm organizing.
And in the studio, who are your favorite artists that you've collabed with so far, and who are the top three you'd like to collab with in the future?
Um, I think MPH was a good one. Um, like it flowed really nicely. Who else have I done a collab with? I also a lot of collabs. I haven't actually got into the studio with a person. It's just been like over stems. But I don't. It's hard to say who the top three are 'cause they're all they're all good in their own way, like Champion and Flavor D and people like that.
That's
Um,
sick.
there's a lot of collabs that haven't come out and have been good studio sessions. But who I'd say the best. I think the best person I've been in the studio with is a guy called Titch, and he owns Off Man Up Records, which is like a Sheffield bassline label, and he's got so many A-listers, but he is like one of the most talented people ever. And just going in the studio with him, I was just like, this guy's a beast. Like he's ridiculous. Like he's responsible for Fat World, Superior Cornrows, to name a few. That's like the heavy
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
baseline crew.
yeah,
But
yeah.
he was probably, yeah.
That's some OG baseline stuff. Was he in charge of
Yeah.
like? Was that Niche? Was it Niche? That was that label, Future Niche? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Niche Bass.
Niche is the old club, yeah.
Yeah. And so for those joining us on video, Sammy's in some sort of spaceship. Tell us, Sammy, what's your studio saying? I see there's lots of
Yeah, it's just
lots of panels and
yeah,
yeah,
just
lovely. Got your
like
guitar, piano,
yeah.
got a protein shaker. I'm sure there's
A
some
bit
other
of
stuff
protein shake.
there. Love that. And what protein are you having at the moment, G? What are you on?
You know
What are
what?
you...
I haven't been to the gym since I got back from Australia, but it's diet fuel and it's got loads of fiber and it makes you lose weight as well. But
Lit. He's
been
got.
drinking too much beer.
Yeah, yeah. So tell us about your tour life. How was Australia? What did you get up to? Any funny tour stories? How do you? What's it?
Australia,
Yeah.
Australia was amazing. Like, so I went to New Zealand first and did New Year's Eve there, and that was amazing. And like the people are so funny. Like, it was really good to go out there. And then my first experience of Australia was went and did this festival in Perth, and then went to this afters, and they'd bought a house and they refurbished it, but they're just starting to refurbish it. And the first thing they did was put a club in their house. And I mean, like, this is like a proper club. They had stamps and everything, and like neon lights and decks and everything. It was just like, is this what all of Australia's like? And I was just, yeah, Australia was amazing.
Amazing. And was Perth your favorite place that you visited?
I don't know. They were all good in different ways. Like Perth, had some really cool people. And Melbourne was the best set. I think that was probably my favorite set ever. Um,
Sick.
but like it's beautiful as well, Australia.
Mm.
They were all good. All the cities were good in their own way. Yeah.
And we often have women on the podcast and we ask about their experience in the music industry. But with males, I'm more inclined to ask about like mental health and like how you keep.
Mm.
It's a very relevant topic and there's obviously a huge stigma around it we're trying to remove. How is your mental health on tour? How do you keep it tip top? Are there any exercises that you do? What's the kind of diet that you follow for DJs who may want to tour in the future but are afraid of the implications of getting fucked up every day?
Yeah. I mean, I think you know your limit. Like if you're doing 3 nights in a row, you might want to have one night off, or take it easy one of the nights. Um, I I try and go to the gym in the week. Again, I haven't since being back, but try to do some exercise. I also take like a lot of vitamins and stuff like that, and just try and be healthy, drink lots of water, like eat healthy. Eating healthy is a massive thing as well, like because on tour sometimes you can't, just try and not and have McDonald's all the time, because it does actually make you feel like shit. So yeah, just try and be healthy in those ways, and yeah, try and get as much sleep as you can, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's sick. Sick advice. Yeah, definitely write that down, lads and ladies. And I know a few big DJs, they struggle with pre-performance anxiety.
Mm.
Some of them have thrown up before gigs, which is common.
Yeah, I
What's how do you tackle that, Sammy?
I get nervous before every single gig. Like I'm quite bad for it. If you see me at a gig backstage, I'll just be pacing around. That's what I do. I just pace, and it's just part of it. I don't think there's anything you can do for that. Like it's a pretty daunting thing going up and playing in front of people, and I worry about just performing. I want to be as good as possible and for the night to go as well as possible. I don't know. You just gotta you just gotta take it on the chin. Like that's what comes with it, I think.
It
Um,
is, yeah.
but if you are getting, I mean, I haven't thrown up, but if you are getting nervous, that's a good thing because it means you care. So
Yeah, that's just about to say that.
yeah,
Great
yeah.
minds, great
I, I
minds.
I think in terms of like you were saying before, mental health, like there's another that is something that comes with being a producer and a DJ full time. Like it does does take, it's impossible not to get in your own head about things and to feel like sometimes feel like you're not doing enough, or you know, and it's hard with, I know a lot of people compare themselves to other artists. Oh, this person's doing better than me, like Spotify numbers and stuff like that. It's a really hard business to be in. And I think the way that I cope with it is having people around me that I can speak to. You know, my girlfriend, um, I'll speak to her about it. My manager as well, she's really good with mental health. So I think it's just having important people around you that you can speak to, and you know, they reassure you and stuff like that.
That's really, really solid advice. Having good people around you. I'm glad that you've got some supportive people around you, and it can be very
Yeah,
difficult. There is a trend at the moment where people are talking about getting anxiety from their release day and releasing new records and wanting that performance. The work that they put in, they want to see those results, and it's not.
yeah.
You kind of very often expect a better release than what you get, and just dealing with that.
It's
Um,
yeah, it's really hard as well. Like if you pour your heart and soul into something and it doesn't quite do as well as you would have hoped, like that again, it's just it's part of it, and you just got to
yeah.
keep, you know, keep going.
It is like running a business nowadays, being a producer. I'm not sure what it was like back in the day, but nowadays you have to do everything. You have to do your promo, you have to do your marketing. And being a business owner gives you the similar stresses of it does take a toll on your mental health. So you do have to be quite strong to pursue this as a career. But when you love the music, there's a lot of positives.
I think yeah, I think that's just what I focus on. Like just I'd say the number one thing, make good music and everything else will follow. And don't ever try and like cater for anyone. Just try and do what you want to do and what you want to make, and everything else will follow. Really, I think. Yeah.
Love that. I love that. So some of your more successful tracks, what was your process in the studio? Was it like a quick 15-minute bang out or any presets or you hammer
Um,
it or a few
it's just
years?
it's both. Like some tracks have taken ages tweaking it. Um, if it doesn't sound quite right, just spend the time tweaking it. Sometimes you can get the idea down really quickly. Like one of my most successful tracks, Dagada, I was this was during COVID, just before it ended, and I had a job in a warehouse, and it wasn't very busy. I used to like pack bags and stuff, and it wasn't very busy, and I needed one bassy track for my EP just to sort of keep it varied. And I just sat down and I made it in like an hour and it just flowed. Sometimes it's like that, but then sometimes it's like Find My Way Home took a little bit longer. Um, yeah, it depends really. But yeah, often you just sit down, you make an idea and it flows, and those tracks can be really nice. Yeah. It's not always like that, yeah.
Yeah, and side note, me and Sammy were supposed to film this at Pirate Camden. I was in Manchester and he was in London, and then we did a switcheroo and didn't tell each other. That's my bad. I kind of fucked up with that.
No, no.
I passed through Leeds. I fucking love Leeds.
Yeah.
Uh,
How
so
come you're in Leeds?
Oh, bro, I was seeing the missus up north, and
Yeah, yeah,
she's up there doing bits up there, and I'm down here. So we've got music studio up there. We bounce between.
yeah,
So I'll let you know next time I'm up there. But I love good culture
yeah,
there,
yeah,
good banter and shit. Good lads.
yeah, yeah. It's wicked
Uh,
up there.
yeah, is that your hometown, Leeds?
Um, well, I'm from down south. I was born in London, but yeah, I just live up here. It's just way cheaper. Like
Yeah,
the food is really, really good in
yeah.
Leeds. People are really nice.
Whereabouts in
And
London? Whereabouts in London were you born?
oh, I was born near Crystal Palace.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
west or north? South?
South, I think.
South,
I don't know.
north, south, east, and west.
I
Who
don't know.
knows? I was
I,
born. I was born north. I was born in Hampstead, quite posh ends, very
do you
culturally diverse.
do you support a football team?
I'm Chelsea.
Uh
Who are you? Crystal Palace.
Arsenal. Arsenal.
Arsenal. Oh, fair, fair, fair.
Yeah, yeah,
They are
yeah,
they are shelling it. So at least you're not
yeah,
Spurs. If
yeah,
you were Spurs, I'd have to end the
yeah,
podcast.
yeah. That's I'd have
Yeah.
to leave
Sorry,
the
mate.
leave the call.
Yeah. Sorry, we can't continue. I don't chat with them. So let's get a bit nerdy. What's your favorite synthesizer at the moment? What are your plugins? Have you got any go-to plugins? Are you Ableton or Logic? I can't remember.
I'm Logic,
Yeah.
and I'm liking plugin or VST plugin. Uh, you know what? There's this transient shaper by
Ooh.
Kilohertz. It was just a free thing, and it gave you loads of plugins. And I've just been using that loads because with my drums, I like to make them really tight, not overlapping, like really short, snappy sounds. Um, and that transient shaper is quite nice to help with that.
Oh, love that. We love a good transient shaper, don't we, lads? We do love one of those. And what's your favourite food? What's your go-to munch when you're in Leeds?
You know what? At the minute, it's Wagamama's.
Oh,
At the minute,
juicy.
I'm just, oh, I love a Wagamama's.
What's your go-to? What's your go-to order?
I'll get a steak teriyaki soba. It's nice.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, it's good.
nah. Dang, dang.
But if not that, then just Nando's, always Nando's. Like can eat that every day of the week.
Yeah, it's the producer's diet. Nando's and
Yeah,
Wagamama's. Yeah, that is
yeah.
it, isn't it? And what are your other hobbies outside of music? Do you spend 23 hours a day in the studio, or do you like to play ultimate frisbee, or take the dog for a walk, or what's your,
Yeah,
what's your
yeah.
yeah?
All of them. I love all of them.
Let's go.
Playing a bit of football. Like, well, I haven't played in a while because I've been away, but playing a bit of five-a-side, trying to get back into it. It's really hard with my fitness levels. Yeah, I love football and taking the dog for a walk. Got a dog and a cat.
Oh,
Um, yeah, spending time with the missus, and yeah, that's about it. And then studio, obviously.
oh, sick. Very wholesome. Very wholesome. And what's the vibe? Bassline versus drum and bass versus garage. What are you saying?
I I like I love garage. I think garage is my thing.
Sick. Yeah.
But I love jungle as well. I think jungle's cool. Bassline, like there'll always be a place in my heart for old school bassline, I think. And that Sheffield off and that stuff, I still listen to it loads today. Like I love it.
It's
Um,
goated. Yeah, it's goated.
yeah. But
Some
yeah,
goated
UK
bass.
garage for me is yeah, it's my favorite.
Yeah, I'm team garage as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
for those that don't know, bassline originated from Sheffield, and it is a lot. It was a lot more like scatty and wonky and like I don't know. I don't know. It was now it's more like
It was
bass house, isn't it? It's more like
Yeah, it was a lot more like wobbly and silly,
yeah,
whereas
yeah.
it's a bit more serious now. And yeah,
Yeah,
very
yeah.
good with it.
The drums are very like clean and rigid, and back in the day more dirty
Yeah,
and like just less
yeah,
emphasis on the drums, more emphasis on that groovy bass.
yeah.
So yeah, maybe we'll see an old school like niche bass EP from Sammy coming soon. Yeah, who knows what he's got in stock. So future releases. What have you got lined up for the year? What I bet there's so much hype around your tracks and
So,
people be
so my next one is a collab with Salute, which is like a nice kind of like housey, but it's quick. It's like 135 BPM. Um, and it did really well on TikTok, like a video of Salute playing it in his boiler room. So that's
sick.
coming out next month. And then we're trying to sort getting this flow down dub actually released. So I think that'll be the one after that, hopefully. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
huge. So huge. Oh.
Mhm.
And How do you see yourself progressing as an artist? Are we going to be seeing like live sets from you? Are you going to
You know
give us
what?
like an acoustic set?
Yeah, I'd actually love to get into that. I need to find the time to just get some equipment and like do it and practice. Because I've always sort of like felt like I'm preparing for the next set, and I haven't had like a time to sit down and think, okay, yeah, maybe this would be cool to do next. But I think live sets would be wicked. You know, play some keys, you know, do some improvisation as well because I'm good at that, and you know, like that sort of stuff. That'd be cool.
That's sick. Everyone would love that. And going forward, let's say you had to start again. You're a new producer on the scene, new DJ. What are the three most helpful things you'd say, and what's holding you back at the moment that you'd like to know? If you were 10 years ahead, what would you tell yourself?
Um, just send your stuff to as many labels, and I think starting out as a producer, just get your stuff to as many labels as you can, um, because that is the best way to get some exposure to begin with. Um, just keep making music as well, and don't and you know, I when I sent my tracks out, I sent it to loads of labels and I didn't get any replies for 2 months, and then got a reply, and then that was my first release, and then from there it just, you know, it gets easier and easier to make releases. You can make your name for yourself. um yeah.
That's sick. Great advice. Every artist that comes on the show talks about like being resilient and everyone has to face these no's before they get yeses. It's just the
Yeah.
way. I don't know if anyone's sent one demo email out and got signed from it, but but um,
Yeah.
but yeah. So if you've been listening for this long, you probably know who Sammy Virji is, obviously. But if you don't, Sammy, tell us some of your career highlights, some of the clubs you've played at, some of the festivals you've played at, all the amazing things you've done.
uh, I'm Sammy, and I've made some make some music, and I've played I've played festivals. I don't know. Um, played Printworks the other day, which was cool. Um, Warehouse Project, some great festivals. This is a hard job. I have to list my achievements, but yeah, I don't know. It's hard to list your achievements, isn't it?
That's lit. Yeah, so how did you get your set at Printworks and like warehouse and stuff? What's the step into that? Because a lot of people they're DJ'd and they want to get involved in these big brands. So what's your advice to them? How can they
I
get
think
involved?
the natural progression is, I think when you get an agent, that's when I wouldn't say you get more bookings, but you start maybe getting the bigger bookings. But I think when you're ready, that time will come. Um, I mean, you just got to keep making music, and eventually you get picked up by an agency, and I think that, yeah, that helps with the bigger ones anyway. You know, like
Cool.
Printworks and your warehouse projects.
Yeah, and like getting an agent, would you say just consistently releasing music, working on that and trying to get
Yeah,
some dubs?
yeah, again, just yeah, and you can. I'd say it's more important to release good music than release music all the time. You know, quality over quantity, definitely. Um, that is one of the biggest things that separates someone good from someone really good. It's just quality control. Um,
Mm.
you know.
Brilliant, brilliant. That's great advice. We haven't heard that one yet, but that is top notch.
Hmm.
And at uni, did you study music? Was that your kind of was that what you studied, or did you do like
No, I
architecture or
stu-
something?
I studied biology.
Oh, sick, sick,
Yeah.
sick.
I actually like my plan was it wasn't really my plan. It was sort of what my parents wanted me to do, but to go and do a postgrad in medicine. But I got to uni and I didn't go to any lectures. I must have been bottom of my class because I was DJing all the time, not just doing like R&B nights and stuff like that with my flatmate Yemi. We would play like 4 or 5 times a week, try and get a little bit of extra money as well. And yeah, just didn't go to any lectures, and I ended up dropping out in third year, because that's when things started to take off for me, getting booked elsewhere and stuff. So
Sick.
yeah,
So you really paved your own path and it opened up for you. That's a dream come true. It's so sick.
yeah. That I wanted to do that from a young age. I think, yeah.
Sick. And I just saw a post on your Instagram a minute ago saying you're going to be bringing out some more merchandise. So is that going to happen? When we
Um,
can see that?
yeah, we're getting. I've just had a meeting about it today, so we're gonna get a few more printed, and yeah, because
That's
that's another thing with releases as well. If you have one of those T-shirts, you can scan the QR code, and it'll give you a dub. And there's two on there already, two dubs. And when I release the shirts again, when they get made, I'll release another one with that as well.
that's so sick.
Mm.
That's such a good idea. And yeah, so you're going to a pub. Are you more like a spoons guy? Do you like the kind of old school English stuff? What you buying when you go to a pub? What's your order?
I like an old man ale,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
like a dirty like John Smith's or something.
yeah. Like a stout or something.
Don't mind a Guinness though, and I don't mind a Moretti, but yeah, like a nice. My favorite pint is Timothy Taylor's Bolt Maker. That is
Oh,
just the oldest man pint you'll get.
that's nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
Sink a few of those. Good
Mm.
vibes. And where do you see your career in 10 years' time? Are you gonna become an NFT or a robot or what's gonna happen?
I
Well,
don't know. I tend not to think too much about the future, and try and just try and make good music, and everything else will follow. I'll say that again and again. 'Cause, yeah, I don't know. I've just taken it as it comes.
I love that.
Yeah.
And yeah. And I did a Google search because I was like, I need to research my guest and make sure I know what I'm talking about. It said, do you have a record label? Is it a self-titled record label or is Google tripping?
No, I don't have a record. Google tripping.
Google, Google.
I've done most of my stuff self-released.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
Is that your advice to an upcoming producer, maybe to self-release? I mean, maybe a better idea is to go for a few record labels and
yeah,
then.
that's what I'd say. Do don't self-release to begin with. Well, when I first started, I was doing SoundCloud free download things to get my SoundCloud followers up. There's like a gate thing you can do. If you want to download the track, you have to follow this person, and that was a really good way of building a little bit of a fan base. Um, but I don't know, because a lot of things not many people listen, not as many people listen to SoundCloud as they did, I think.
Yeah.
And Spotify is a big thing now. So I think get when you're starting out 100% send to labels and release on labels first.
Yeah, there was that weird transition where SoundCloud went more like hip hop vibes, like it used to be proper EDM, and then
Mm,
the
mm.
algorithm favored the hip hop. Like I did a hip hop mix and it's gone so viral compared to my other mixes. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Anyway, so top three garage producers, old school and new school. Very controversial, but don't have to answer if you don't.
Three old school producers. I'll do three old school and three new school. Um, well, okay. So MJ Cole, I think, is the best. Carl Brown was one of my favorite. Carl Brown and Tough Jam. Um, New School, MPH is really good. Bakey is really, really
Yeah,
good.
shout out Bakey.
Um, yeah, Bakey's drums, I think, are just so clean. And Prescribed the Vibe, he does some of the best two step that you'll hear. Um, yeah, I think those guys are, but it's hard to say that they're the best, because there's so many people are amazing in their own way as well.
Mm, yeah, yeah, no, that's good. That's your three favorite. Don't don't get disheartened if you weren't mentioned. Don't worry.
Oh yeah.
We might have a future guest on that will say, And yeah, so what are your plans for this year? Obviously, you've just come off an Australia tour, which is amazing. Have you got any other tours planned yet, or can you talk about what
Um,
can you give us to get excited about?
I don't know if there's anything that I can talk about, but
Okay.
I've got I've got this show in London on not tomorrow, but the next Friday, which will be good. That's like the last of my UK tour ones, and I'm getting some special guests for it. But again, I can't say because it's like not an announcing, but they'll be there.
Lit, oh,
Yeah,
exciting,
yeah.
and got to keep it exclusive. And yeah, just what are your thoughts on the music industry, streaming? Is there anything that you can say or you'd like to talk about, like anything you'd like to improve about the industry or stuff like that?
Um, I think Spotify Wrapped is bollocks. I think it's the most unhealthy thing. I think I try and make a point of not posting about it, although I'm happy with my numbers and I'm really happy with them. But I think it's Spotify Wrapped is like a breeding ground for people to compare themselves to other people, and I think that can sometimes be what a really hard thing for other producers, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I don't know.
That's a good one. So that's slightly controversial, but I think a majority of producers will agree with you there that Spotify
I
Wrapped
think
is.
you know people feel the need to post it because everyone else is posting it, and you see things like, "Oh, my numbers aren't this good, but I'm happy with." Like, I sometimes feel like, "Oh, that's just not good to compare yourself." And numbers don't mean anything as well because the things that are important are, you know, you could have like 100 streams on your track, but you know, and that might just be from one person that loves that track. And that is the important thing because your track might mean the world to that one person. And that's, you know, that's really important. You must have had a track that you listen to that you listen to it all the time. You're like, oh my God, this is amazing. I wish I could just tell the producer how sick this track is. And like, that's the important thing, you know, touching the hearts of people. I don't know. Yeah.
That is a fucking very good perspective, and I have never thought about it that way. So everyone should take that on board. You know, the numbers don't really matter. Numbers can be bought as well. A lot of people
That's
have
true
really
as
good
well. Yeah,
marketing
numbers can be bought.
campaigns.
Numbers can
So
be bought. But I see why Spotify do it because it gets people to post it all the time. It's kind of genius marketing strategy. But I think, yeah, yeah, I'm sort of against it a bit.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's definitely something that we're gonna include because I find that quite interesting. What do you have any other controversial opinions? Not any that will get you in trouble, just to do with music. Don't incriminate yourself.
um,
Send it.
no, I don't know.
Yeah,
No,
nothing
I
we can
don't think
talk
so.
about on this one. Oh, brilliant. So yeah, I mean that is a lot, and yeah, have you got, let's see, well, I've asked you quite a lot. I've asked you like tour life, fun gig stories, future
Also, wait,
gigs.
hang on. Sorry. When I speak about Spotify Wrapped, I think it's cool when you got like number one listener, two, three. I'm talking more about like the producer thing, when it's like this is how many streams you got and stuff like that. I think I don't I kind of retract my statement. I don't think it's bollocks. I think that's a bit harsh, but I think you know do you know what I mean
Oh,
about
bro, I've heard so many people with that viewpoint,
I I
you
just
know.
know people that get really disheartened by it and
But do you think
don't
that
apply it.
that in itself is a bad thing, or social media is the problem? Because if you
Yeah,
just
well,
get your
yeah, I think
stats, you're like,
so.
oh, this is sick. But because everyone posts it on Instagram, that's the problem. Like if every producer got their own stats, they're Spotify wrapped, and that it was private, you couldn't share it.
Yeah,
It's
I think
it's
that'd be a
not
good thing.
that's not that bad. It's
I
the
think
sh
that'd be
it's
a,
the So I think the problem is
it's actually
Instagram.
social.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's probably
I think
that.
you're right. I think you're right.
It's probably more that because
Yeah, I
like
think you're
you
right.
get
Yeah,
birds, yeah, they scroll through Instagram and then they compare themselves like this bird's got nicer arse, this bird's got nicer face, or whatever, or whatever. I'm not a bird, so I can't say. 'Cause I don't do that. I don't get jealous of anything ever.
yeah, yeah,
And I'm quite a secure
yeah,
person.
yeah,
And
yeah,
there's filters, there's body enhancing apps. Like you can't take that for serious. And same with the numbers. It's like people can enhance their numbers, and you're like, this artist got 10 million more plays than me. My career is useless. No, it's not. Like
yeah.
your point was amazing that the quality of the listeners as well is a huge factor, and I never thought of that. There might be someone out there that thinks like, oh, I love this song, and isn't it such a nice feeling when you get a message like, oh, this song touched me. It's yeah.
I got a message about one of my tunes called "Forgetting," right? And it's a tune that I really like, but it didn't do very well. Well, didn't do particularly well on Spotify. But this one person messaged me and was like I'm obsessed with this track. The chords and everything is amazing, and that is what matters to me. If you're touching at least one person, that is success. You know?
That's huge. That's huge. That's such a nice way to put things. I'm sure you're
Mm.
touching at least one person with every track you put out. So that's a success. And when are we gonna are you ever gonna put your own vocals on a track? Have you done that yet? Or are we gonna sit here
I
some
have
with Virji
done
MC?
I have done that with a track, but I don't know if it's released or not.
Okay.
I don't like sing, like lead vocals. It's more like chords. It'll be like to enhance the production in some
Yeah.
way.
We're not gonna hear any reggae vocals from you anytime
No, no.
soon on
Well,
this.
Dagada was my vocals.
Oh, there you
No,
go.
no,
There
it
you
wasn't. It
go.
wasn't.
Fuck, it sounded so much like you. I had you on the pod. I was like, "That's him." Anyway, so yeah. And what's your favorite club in the UK to play at, and what makes it special for you?
Um, I think Warehouse Project, Second Room, the concourse is that is such a good room. I just think the way it's laid out, like with people behind, and I just think that was a really cool place to play. But then obviously going to uni in Newcastle, like a club called World Headquarters is I really love. Like has a place in my heart. But yeah.
Oh, that's sick. And we'll close with one more question. What's your favorite club? Not in the UK, or maybe like a certain nation like New Zealand, Australia. What's your favorite club abroad that you've played at?
Um, well, probably the place in Melbourne. It was called Howlers, and it was like an outside. It was kind of outside. It was like a day party thing. That was just amazing. There's like
Sick.
that was kind of like people behind as well. Like it's cool that boiler room type setting thing.
Oh, love that. So
Yeah,
do you enjoy like an intimate set? I like
yeah,
it.
I like the
Yeah,
intimate ones.
yeah,
I think.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So nice, like playing in a cave or something, few hundred people.
yeah, yeah.
Good for vibes. And we'll ask a few more questions because I like chatting to you. So, what's your rider like? Not your technical rider. Like, do you have a rider? What do your preferred rider? Is it a bag of cashew nuts and a banana, or what? What's your go-to rider?
Um, it's like a bottle of vodka and some beers,
Oh, nice.
and I've got a protein shake on there as well. I think it used to be a smoothie, but I think I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna get those like ginger shots that you can get. I really like them. I'm gonna try and get one of them on there.
I
Um,
love that.
yeah.
That's sick. I love that. All right, we'll wrap it up there, Sammy. Don't take up too much of your time. Thank you so much for
All right,
coming
no
on.
worries, man.
And then next time we're both in London, we'll hit up Camden. We'll bring a bottle of tequila. We'll get fucked up and chat some more. All right,
Nice
guys. Anything else you want to say, Sammy, before we wrap it up? Any other tips for producers?
one. Sorry, I got giving you all the tips.
All right, sweet as lads.
Nice
All
one.
right, we'll see you in the next one. Peace.